Nice. Hey, here we are, Kyrie United Podcast. Dr. Fred with Elite Coaching. Got Dr. Joe Ferrantelli with Posture Co. and all the 8 million things, apps and stuff that you have. And we're all fired up tonight because we have the king of wearing his headset crown of podcast today, Jim Chester.
Welcome, Jim.
Man. Hey, thanks for having me. The marketing's always ever present, and we're putting out content in masses. So thanks for having me. Man.
You know what? I think I need to go get a posture screen banner or something here, Fred.
Yeah,
I'm feeling a little neglected.
So you've had us on your podcast, which was kind of lagging, but you interview people all across the profession. I mean, you're not a chiropractor, but you have this passion that burns in you that's actually greater than a lot of chiropractors. So we really want to find out about the man behind the mission. And, how'd you get into all this, man? What was your life like early? How'd you evolve into chiropractic? What's your story?
Well, I'll tell you the beginning of the origin. And it all happened in Davenport, Iowa. That's my hometown. And I was a teenager. I went to high school right across the street from Palmer College. And I always saw these guys walking up and down the streets in these white coats. And I'm like, I don't think we have a medical school around here. And found out that they were chiropractic students, and got to know some of them over the time of being a teenager on into my 30s. And, I was playing high school football. Many of you guys have a similar story like this. You hurt yourself, you end up going to the chiropractor. Most of you become chiropractors. I just like to get adjusted. And I realized that when I hurt my shoulder, my mom took me over to Palmer. They did some x-rays on my spine, and I started getting adjusted at age 16.
So there's probably a great story in there, man. Like, you're brushing over it, but you hear so many stories from chiropractors, just like that, where, hey man, I was in a game and then I got hit, and they could blow over it. But then when you find out, I was laying on the ground and thought I was going to be paralyzed, like that actual injury. Was it just a sore shoulder, or was it a significant injury?
It was a concern that got me knocked out of the game. I had a stinger, and I thought that I might have broken something in my shoulder, and went over to Palmer, and they x-rayed my shoulder, but they asked my mom, honestly, if it was okay if we can x-ray a spine too. And
wait, let me understand that. So a chiropractor x-raying the spine. Fred, that's kind of a novel approach. So wait, let me think about this. So chiropractors should x-ray the spine. Huh. Okay. I'm just trying to let it sink in because people are unchoosing wisely lately. So, okay. So sorry about that distraction.
Palmer is, because Palmer actually doesn't even have the principle that they used to have. Right. So anyway, yeah. So, hey, that was old school chiropractic. Why don't we x-ray the spine?
So I came in for a shoulder concern, and they asked my mom if they could x-ray my spine, and my mom gave them the okay on that. And then I got adjusted, and I've never looked back. And I always performed better in anything I knew when I was getting adjusted.
Nice. That's awesome. Another life-changing story. Here you are. So you're going through all these years, getting adjusted, going through life. And then where was your inspiration to turn to this profession? Well, what did you do? What were you doing? And then what was that epiphany that changed the whole direction of your life?
Well, this is a real fun story because it's real gritty. I got my college degree in marketing and journalism, and I worked for 2 newspapers in the Quad Cities area, which is where Davenport is. It's funny. There's called the Quad Cities, but there's actually 5 of them. Go figure. But anyways, I went to college, got this degree, and I started working for these newspapers, and I just didn't like the system. I didn't care for the way that the bureaucracy was in the journalistic rooms, and the way that people treat each other, the way people got stories. Some people got stories, some people didn't. And I was doing a lot of high school sports. I was a sports journalist. And, I was fed up, so I quit working as a journalist, and I went out and I started framing houses in the middle of winter. And long story short, but I got into the service industry after that. I worked for a decade in the service industry, waiting tables, parking cars, delivering pizzas, you name it, I did it. Bartending, special event type stuff, worked at a piano bar, worked at live music venues. And I really, I was having fun. And then this guy that both of you guys know, Dr. Matt Walker, he was my doorman at the last bar that I worked at, which was a piano bar.
No kidding.
And he taught
that role. Like you could see the rugby player,
right? Yeah, absolutely.
And then Walker tore his knee up playing rugby at Palmer, and that's when we really became closer friends, because I would go over and check on him, make sure things were going well with him. And before I knew it, he graduated Palmer College and asked me if I'd come up and help him do some work at one of his clinics up in Arlington Heights. I took him up on it. He taught me the principle. He taught me how to run a therapy floor. I was doing traction technician work for 5.5 years. And
CBP clinic.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
But yeah, that's the greater part of the second chapter of the story is I fell in love with chiropractic after I worked in a clinic. And I was always wondering why don't more people utilize chiropractic, and why is it so misconstrued with the public? So I decided that we were going to make a documentary film on chiropractic, and that's the next chapter after working in the clinic.
So what documentary film did you make?
So it's called Chiropractic, the documentary. I thought I would make it real plain and simple for people, so there wasn't any confusion in actually what it was. I made it to where people that are in health and wellness would know exactly where to go if they were looking for information on chiropractic. And people have found me because of the movie. It's crazy.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, I never knew this history. This is great.
You should email me the link, man, or whatever, how to access it, because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'll send it to both you guys. Yeah, it's chiropracticthedocumentary.com.
Did you talk about CBP on it?
I interviewed Deed. Deed's in the movie.
You did? No kidding.
Really?
Yeah.
I knew nothing about this.
I know. He's keeping secrets.
Yeah, it's got a lot of rock stars in there too. We got old school footage from Reggie Gold in there. We got some old school footage of Sigafus in there. So it's very well rounded.
That's great.
No kidding, man. Well, I don't know how much the profession knows this.
Well, I campaigned hard, man.
Yeah.
Well, dude, you should put it on social media and stuff.
We have a pretty active Chiropractic the documentary page. It's got tons of interviews on it. It's got tons of good stuff.
I'm gonna have to. I feel like I'm not a chiropractor or something. Not knowing this.
Exactly.
I feel like I'm guilty now. I don't know. I feel like I must be subluxated. That's what's going on.
So your experience was right into corrective care.
Yeah, and that's really what I thought that all chiropractors should be doing. And I was really like in a stronghold of CBP like philosophy. And then as I developed more, I stepped away from working in a practice, and then I went and sold chiropractic. I actually went out and did 600 screen events in 36 months, scheduling in over 2,500 people for their first chiropractic visit, and changed the plats, just really tried to change the game out in Denver. And we did it, and single-handedly those numbers came in. But I believed in the principle. But then I learned, Fred and Joe, I learned so much more about chiropractic techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So I sold chiropractic to all techniques. The public's very confused as to what a chiropractor does and who they are, their identity, because there's so many different people doing it their way that most people just kind of have a perception that chiropractors push on people's backs and necks and people start feeling better.
Yep.
Well, at least they start feeling better. That's a good start. I mean, that's not ultimate, but it's a good start.
But as I got on to like selling the stuff, I was averaging 82 new patients a month doing these events, doing 20 events a month. And really out there campaigning and really kicking ass. And and here's the other part, taking names and scheduling these people in. And 70% of these people I scheduled made it to their first visit.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Awesome. That's a lot of hard work too. So were you just for hire for different clinics? Were you working for one clinic, or were you spreading yourself around, so to speak?
I had 30 clients at the height of myself after I went public doing this in Denver. After I went out and told people I was doing this, by 4 months of me going out there hustling patients, I had 30 clients.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, results speak, man.
Yeah.
Nice.
pulled myself out of retirement for this past weekend. Went out and did a farmer's market and scheduled in 24 and 5 hours or something.
Wow, that's great.
Well, we have a spinal screening product that's all CBP based, but did you ever think of making a spinal screening product and selling it?
I do. And I know that I have a method that would definitely probably align with other people. I've talked to people about what I do, and I have a system. I want to create chiropractic representatives that go out there and use my system to grow chiropractic, not non-denominationally. So I want people to go out there and sell chiropractic services to get the utilization up and to create a great professional golden goose, if you will, that's going to help grow the chiropractic profession.
Hey, Fred. Fred. Here's where moniker should fly in here with a certain product that was good for spinal screenings as well too. So we'll just have that up there, right?
I know. I should go get mine. We have one in the back. It's all posture-based, organ-based spinal screening.
I love it.
So let me ask you. I mean, I know you went through your story, Jim, although you may not have given the one thing. Like, what is it about this that drives you? Because look what you did. I mean, that's hard work. You got to have a big purpose. So what's been driving you? Is it just to get chiropractic out? Was there one experience that you just made that decision, or what fuels this purpose?
I like to work, and I like to work in the chiropractic profession. And I guess I found out different ways that I could work in the profession. I could work as a storyteller. I could work as a sales rep. I could work as a clinic aide. I could work as a documentarian. I could work in different facets. I could work as creating a sales force. I could create a podcast and put out content. And I just realized it was real fun. And I guess I just love to do it. That's why I stick with it.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice. Okay, so now you got that whole screening thing going on, and then what?
I pulled the plug on it.
At your peak of success.
I closed out around Christmas time of 2016. Or no, 2017 Christmas time. 6 months ago, I closed out, and I moved from one side of the state to the other. I was in Denver for 5.5 years, and now I've been out in Grand Junction for the past 6 months. And I just wanted to reformat things. I wanted to get out of what I was doing, and I wanted to figure out what the next step was. And that's why I asked Joe to sponsor our podcast, because now I get to be a megaphone for the chiropractic profession, dedicate my time and energy and interest and my skill sets into growing the chiropractic profession. And I couldn't be happier. You know, we're about to hit year number 1 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. We're right at that brink of getting 10,000 listens an episode.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm proud to be able to support you any way I can, man. Anybody that's, because it's not you have a true passion. And anybody that does these things, because obviously you could be doing something very lucrative with your training, right? So you're doing this out of your heart and your passion to change the world. And it's not work at that point. I mean, I was just talking to somebody today about, what I do. And if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would be doing exactly the same thing, except doing it on a grander scale. I would be taking more trips to Park City though, Fred. Yeah. And maybe having a house there, what I keep talking about. But I would be doing the same thing. And I know you'd be doing the same thing too, just on a grander scale.
Yeah, support always helps, and building the chiropractic tribe always helps, and building that know, like, and trust in the community always helps. So, I just like the friendships and the ability to scale myself and help more people like you guys, and to be somebody that is, I like to consider an industry transformer, somebody that can come in and really shape the future of the way chiropractic is utilized.
Well, that's awesome. And I also want to say, this probably would have been more appropriate to mention earlier, you're not a chiropractor.
No.
Right? All the chiropractors, now you got 2,400 patients in what time frame?
2,500 patients in 36 months. That's 2.5 years.
Okay, 2.5 years. So let's say a year, right? 12 months. So divided by 3, 8,000 patients. Oh, no, 800 patients. So you got 800 patients a year, basically. Yep. And people say they're having problems building their practice.
And they're a
Not even
chiropractor.
practicing chiropractor. And you got 800. How about if somebody just did what you did and got 150?
Yep.
Like all you need is 100. So it's like people complain, but and I said, what drives you? And you say, you like to work. And that's really what it is. You have a purpose that drives you, and there's no other freaking way. And the funny thing is, I help people start practices, and this relates to you, Jim. I say your feet got to hit the pavement. Can you help me build your practice? Yes, I can show you the systems, but I can show you how to get them. I can show you what to say, but your feet got to hit the pavement. And then when they come in, I can show you how to turn 1 into 3. I can show you how to build a practice. And then I say, but your feet got to hit the pavement every day for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I say, are you ready to, oh yeah. And they don't get it. They don't get it. It's like, what'd you do today? Oh, I sat around ordering an x-ray machine and I'm buying paper clips at Staples. What? That's a WTF moment. What are you doing? Hire an office manager and do what Jim did. I mean, here it is, gang. He's not a chiropractor. 2,500 patients in 3 years. Just go get 100.
Yeah,
go get
Fred,
100.
Right, Fred. How many clinics don't even have 2,500 patients in their career?
I know.
So
3 years. So it's like that's heart, that's purpose, and it's not because you love to work hard. It's because when you find something that you love, working is the natural step.
Right.
Because you want to produce something.
And it's fun, man. It's hard work, but it's fun. I like to talk to people. I like to find out what their concerns are. I like to tell them that we have a solution. And when you meet somebody like that, one of my favorite things, you guys will probably really get a kick out of this, is some people are like, I don't believe in chiropractic. And I say, well, here, hold on a second. Just hold that. And I get these keys out of my pocket and I shake them. I drop them down to the ground. I say, chiropractic works like gravity, whether you believe it or not. And then I go on to tell them that I think, if they're interested in more information on what we do, we're not a belief system. We're a chiropractic system.
Yeah, that's great. And then, so, just changing with this, you're at pretty much every event in chiropractic that I've been to in the last, as long as I can remember, interviewing people. You want to talk about that? I mean, how many shows are you doing in events? You're all over the place. You're logging more miles than we are.
Well, that's back to the whole sales strategy, the interview strategy. I'm a high volume guy, and it's called Chiro Hustle for a reason. And it wasn't just a fluke for how we named ourselves. But to go into like the meat and potatoes, which I like to say a lot, is I enjoy traveling and I enjoy telling other people's stories. And I think that that's the real essence of journalism. When you set up live somewhere and you get a story from somebody and they don't know really what you're going to ask them, you just keep it chiropractic related. You kind of give them like a few like topics of choice that we're going to go over. And then we're going to say, thanks for joining us, and keep telling the story, keep hustling. You're one story away, keep hustling's our tagline. So once that's done, people kind of get a resonance with, he delivered, he told somebody else's story, and he finished it up. I like to do about 10 a day.
Wow.
10, at a seminar, 10 stories.
Yeah. And I see a lot of value in it because it lets the chiropractic event live outside the four walls of chiropractic.
Right.
Some of these dynamic speakers that are really blowing like the doors off of this place. I know people want to sell tickets to their events, but if you show just a snapshot of like a Dane Donahue talking about 8 weeks of wellness at ChiroFest, that's pretty darn cool. And he's going to talk about what he talked about on stage, and people are going to start shaking their head. Yeah, I should be there. I want to hear this.
Right.
So, it's a big attraction to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Which we need to talk to you about our October event too in Chicago. I talked to you about that.
So if we go to Chicago, Fred, what is it that we have to do? Just wondering from this past weekend that we even though we had a great time with great friends, we missed a little Italian food in Chicago.
Yeah, there you go. We're not eating alligators.
Yeah, and I have to
was
say,
that?
yeah, and well, it's one of the other or one of the brothers that we have. And last time I checked, I'm not Irish, and I didn't eat any Italian.
Yeah, that profile definitely isn't Irish. Not only that, but alligators aren't even indigenous in Chicago, man. If you're going to eat an alligator, go to...
Might as well be. Yeah. All right, so we digress.
Yeah.
So what's the restaurant? What's a restaurant everybody should go to in Chicago then?
Well, I like to go to Carmine's, although Carmine's on Rush Street, although, you know, there's people that say Carmine's not the best. The locals don't go there. Yeah, whatever. I like Carmine's.
I have to second that. It was good.
Yeah.
Every time for the last several years.
Yeah. So anyway, so here you are. So you dumped your screening thing. You moved across state. And then what is that when you started Chiro Hustle? What happened
now? We pioneered it. Actually, the inception of it all started doing a live event at Palmer, and it was with Matt and the rugby team. And then the next thing I did is got contacted by the guys at Chiro Sushi, and they're like, "Hey, you can do anything you want to." I'm like, "Okay, how about I do these sweet live interviews that I just did a week ago in Davenport, Iowa with the Palmer rugby alumni team?" And Tristan's like, "Sure, let's knock it out of the park." So that's really where the idea behind what we're doing right now started, with the traveling and interviewing people at these events. But this was a brainchild of 2 years. I just had to figure out how to market it and how to brand it and how to bring my ideas and conception to the marketplace, and to create content at a massive rate, and to not give up on it. So,
that last thing you said was key.
Not give up on it.
Exactly, man. That's exactly it, which is why I also need to have you in October, because we got 10 leaders, amazing leaders, and theme is become unstoppable. And that's what you're talking about, man. People that change the world, people that make a difference. They're freaking unstoppable. And, you know, I did an interview with Roberto Monaco the other day talking about this seminar coming up. He said something really interesting. It's easy when things are going well. Becoming unstoppable is when you totally fail. That's how you become unstoppable, is when you totally fail and you got to pick yourself up and do something else.
Here's the best story then. Here's the best story. When I quit working in an office in Colorado, it was around Christmas time again. And we weren't closing people. The clinic wasn't growing. And I had been there for 18 months. And I said, "Hey, man, I'm going to step away. You take next month's salary. You keep it. Don't pay me. I'm just going to go right off into the sunset and figure something out." So I was going to take the whole month of January off. And my money didn't hold up the way it was supposed to. And it was a troubled time for me. And I reached out to two of my buddies, Aaron Johnson and Brandon in Colorado and in the Denver area. And I said, "Hey, man, do you guys have any screens I can go do for you?" So it was February 1st, and I did 12 screenings from the 12th to the 1st. And I made enough money to pay my rent and my bills with $3 left to my name. And that's when I just worked my ass off. And I never looked back. And by July, I had 30 clients doing this stuff.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
So that's the real story.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's a hero story, brother. That's what it is. Doing what it takes. That's becoming unstoppable.
Yep.
And then raising it, transitioning, raising it, transitioning, raising it, transitioning. And nobody even knows what I have in store, and I'm not going to tell everybody.
Yeah, I know. God, that just sounds like elite. That sounds like CVP, right? Raise it, change it, raise it, advance it, raise it, innovate, innovate. You know, there's a great quote by, I was listening to Joel Osteen. He said, "If you don't innovate, you dissipate."
That's great.
So it's like, well, look at what you're doing with Posture and Posture Screen, man, and the app. It's like, man, if you don't innovate today, like you got to freaking innovate almost every other month. The world is
we do
fast.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
The principle is the principle, but you know how you communicate it might need a little innovation. Which that's a selfish plug for the boot camps. By the way, it's probably the most powerful self-empowerment and professional communication system that's ever been in chiropractic, and we know by the result of the amount of lifetime patients we're creating.
Yep, fully agree.
Yeah. So anyway, so you started that. Here you are. You're in this podcast. So you go around to all the seminars, man. You're on Facebook doing an interview. Like multiple times a week.
Multiple times a day, it seems. I get you popping up in my feed. So you're doing something right.
I'm actually trying to exhaust the market, because that's when I win. When I exhaust the market, that's when we win. And the more content that we put out, the more people are either going to tune out or they're going to tune in. And those that tune out, it's just like Billy DeMoss said, I love when people unfriend me, because that allows me to put somebody else in their place that really wants my stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
that's great.
And it's, to me, I like to be on a schedule, and I like to have things scheduled for me. I like to look at my week and know that I have 12 interviews coming up. And that's why I can do it, is because I have awesome sponsors like you that help, make sure that I have myself available to keep free speech and chiropractic, and to be able to talk about vertebral subluxation, be able to talk about x-rays, be able to talk about people's hero stories, and everybody has a story deep inside of them. They just never get asked to tell it.
Yeah, that's right, man. Everybody's got a freaking story. So now you're on this mission, I guess you would call it, with this massive purpose and big old flame burning in you. Where do you want to take this, man? What's your vision?
So we got another film coming out. It's called Project Patient. It's going to have heavy involvement of chiropractors taking care of military people, PTSD. Opiate epidemic covers that a little bit, but we take some cases, and one gal had paralysis on one side of her body. Nothing uncommon to the chiropractor to know about this stuff, because you guys see miracles in your office every day. But the general public doesn't understand that somebody that's going through paralysis on one side of the body can start getting adjusted and their life returns. But we have cases like that. We have a TBI that we follow for 6 months and show how her life improves. A guy addicted, depressed. So we have some really awesome stories that we follow. we show that chiropractic is good for pregnancies and babies and kids and that demographic. So military, babies, kids, families, and challenging cases. But Project Patients is going to be about a 55-minute film, under an hour, and it's going to just deliver the goods. And I think that's what we really wanted to do, is cut down the time. First film chiropractic documentary is 2 hours. People felt a little labored having to watch a 2-hour film of awesomeness, but this one we cut down so people could actually show it at workshops.
Nice.
That's great. When do you project that it's going to debut?
We're probably going to start hardcore marketing over the next 2 months, and then it's going to be probably an August film.
Oh, great.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Well, let me know how I can help you distribute that.
Yeah. We've been just producing. And this is like the culmination of like a year and a half right now.
That's so awesome.
That's well needed. Definitely.
Cool, man. Well, is there anything else that you want to add?
I have a funding link for the film. If we could share that with the tribe, that would be awesome. It's Indiegogo /Project Patient. And any support that we get financially helps us, once again, keep this fire burning and keep us traveling around the country and the world telling the chiropractic story.
And if people want to tune in and listen to you, what's the best avenues to do so?
ChiroHustle.com. Like I said, we're about to turn the corner of our 52nd episode, which will be our first year.
Wow.
Just fast and furious. One cool thing, a takeaway that we're doing that's going to catch on for more people, I'm sure, because obviously there's schools with CBP clubs in them. But I'm about to get a student rep to start sharing our content at all the schools. And then after them serving me and serving the profession with quality content, I'm then going to teach them how to become their own podcaster.
Nice.
That's fantastic. Yeah,
so
obviously it's a new medium, and you can reach so many patients and build your practice by doing these things. And anybody can podcast. It just takes drive and passion, like you do, and anybody can start up, which is great. Now is a great time to be anything, because you can market yourself with minimal outlay of cost. So that's great.
And the strategy is to cross-pollinate the college into the community. So we're going to be interviewing business owners in the area for the student base to interview business owners once a month and to basically shine a spotlight on a local business.
Nice.
Cross-pollination marketing.
Yep.
Nice. Right on. Cool, man. Well, just thank you. We can wrap this up unless you have something else, but thank you for all you do. Thank you for just being a great leader and a great promoter and just a great vehicle, man, to bring chiropractic out into the general population for the right reason. You know what I mean? Showing them what real chiropractic is. So I appreciate that about you.
And then I was going to ask you, Jim, do you have anything coming up, any events that you'll be at in the next couple weeks?
Yeah, I'm actually pulling myself out of retirement and training some people over on the Front Range this weekend for Dr. Shane Kurth, who actually is featured in our movie. So I'm going to do back-to-back screenings. I'm going to do a farmer's market tomorrow night.
Wow.
Street fair Friday night, and then a farmer's market on Saturday morning for him. So that's 3 days. I'm flying out from Grand Junction, driving back that night, but flying out to Grand Junction to Imaging Services. Michael Tokash, he's our x-ray sponsor. We're going to go out there and do some work with him, go to 6 offices and do Facebook Lives talking about how happy people are with his services and his products. And that's in Philly. Catching a direct flight from Philly to Las Vegas for the Chiro Sushi Summit. And we're going to spend about 4 days out there in Las Vegas. And then we're catching a flight from there to LA to Fiji. And then we're going to be in Fiji for 9 days. And I get back home July 2nd. So that's,
nice.
That's the scoop.
That is fantastic.
Dude, pack a boatload of clothes.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the same clothes for that whole 12 days or whatever it is. So I might have to buy some stuff abroad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool, man. Sounds awesome. Well, that's way more miles than what I'm getting in the next month. So hats off to you. So what about you, Joe? What you got coming up?
We have the CBP Advanced Certification Series that I'll see you at next week. And then we have a seminar about once a month with CBP. But with us, we just got some new releases coming out with Posture Screen, and looking forward to that. And we're really starting to push virtual spinal screening. So now with remote screen, a doctor can literally screen potential patients or existing patients and do reactivations from the comfort of their home by downloading a remote screen, tying it to their cloud, and literally sit back, get a push notification that a spinal screening is waiting, and process it like they were in the office, and then get them to come in for the results.
Cool.
So we call that remote screen. Yep.
Nice.
So we're the first ever to do that. So we're real excited.
Nice.
I'd like to learn more about that.
Game changer.
Yeah. It might be easier on your travel if you could do a lot of remote screens. Yeah. But we'll connect after this on remote screen for sure.
Cool. I look forward to that.
Yeah.
Right on. Cool. We got a bunch of CBP seminars obviously coming up, but we have our July, August boot camp, which are such game changers. You talk about that patient or that Jim that says, I don't believe in chiropractic. When chiropractic is the truth and it's fact, but to the general public, it's a belief system. And if people live what they believe, I talked about this on your podcast when you interviewed me. And what we've done is, I've studied human behavior for 20 years. We learn how to change people's beliefs. And when they believe it, they live what they believe. You don't have to manage people, and they go right into lifetime care. So our boot camps are really a professional self-empowerment, leadership, communication training to help shatter people's limiting beliefs, help create new inspired beliefs. And what we find is 8 out of 10 commit to full corrective care, and we get 8 out of 10 of those in a lifetime care. And we guarantee 30 to 50% growth in 90 days. It's so sure. Once you change your beliefs, man, your practice just grows. So,
yeah, and I have to give a plug back in the day when I was still in practice, and I had my staff come to you, Fred. Remember, I called you and I said, I got the software company I'm trying to do. I need to kind of step out a little bit, and you need to, here are the keys, Fred. Hold my clinic together, and you just skyrocketed it. And my staff came back literally changed. They were changed. They had completely changed people. In one weekend, one boot camp with you, they were completely changed. And they were so on fire to see patients. It was amazing. So
yeah, that's awesome.
I got to thank you for that.
Yeah, we see that regularly. Also, we got, I need to talk to you about this, Jim. October 19, 20 It's a whole seminar. We got 10 leaders, man. Chris Zano, I got to even think of Chris Zano, Rick Sapio, Ben Greenfield, Joe Borio, Neil Cohen,
Wow.
here. I mean, we got all the people that you interview consistently, 10 of them, and the whole theme is become unstoppable. So you're going to see 10 unstoppable speakers that are leading the profession, are going to give you mindset and a whole different mindset and energy on how to be unstoppable and reach your vision. So that's October 19, 20. Go to elitecoachingllc.com, get registered. Right now is the early bird special. You can bring you and your whole team right now for $395. So
wow.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it, man. Bring your team. So that's
Yep.
that's what we're all up to. Thank you so much for being here, Jim.
Yes, thanks, Jim.
Really, man, you're always an inspiration. And we just really, truly appreciate your conviction in what you do.
Oh, I appreciate it too. And
Yep.
I'll just say thank you and tell everybody you're just one story away. Keep hustling. And if you guys keep doing that, you'll keep on growing.
Hey, what a great one-liner. You're one story away. Keep hustling. Love it.
That's awesome, Jim.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care.